All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're setting the stage today for a concept that's honestly absolutely crucial for anyone trying to navigate personal growth right now. We're going to completely dissect how our modern digital landscape has, well, fundamentally broken the way we pursue our goals, and more importantly, how we can actually reclaim that process.
So I want you to ask yourself this right now, and I mean be brutally honest with yourself. Are you climbing for the view, or are you just climbing for the applause? It's a trap almost all of us fall into, thanks to this hyper-connected world we live in. We get totally obsessed with optimizing our lives for the external gaze. You know the feeling, making sure everyone knows we're out there grinding, just desperately seeking that validation.
If you're completely exhausted by modern hustle culture, honestly, you have every right to be. The source material refers to this as the tourism of the ego. It's basically what happens when somebody tackles really difficult terrain, like maybe it's an elite fitness milestone or some highly complex intellectual pursuit or even a massive career pivot, but they do it solely for the external appreciation. We constantly edit our struggles to make them look super glamorous for the crowd, literally turning what should be a sacred internal ascent into this cheap stage play. We end up taking selfies at base camp instead of actually focusing on the climb.
Now, this idea of the performative ascent maps out this extrinsic trap perfectly. It starts with an action, sure, but it immediately shifts to broadcasting that action to the crowd. You seek validation, and what you actually get, just a fragile ego comfort. The real problem here is that you're stuck constantly looking back down the mountain to see if people are watching you. You remain entirely dependent on the crowd and completely, utterly blind to the actual terrain right in front of you.
Okay, let's slow things down a bit and look at the alternative, the sovereign ascent. Here, action leads to internal friction, which expands your horizon and ultimately builds structural wisdom. You climb simply because you want to climb. When your intent is pure, driven by this raw, intrinsic hunger for self-mastery, the mountain isn't just a prop for social media, it's a crucible. Your one and only target is elevating your own vantage point.
Part 1. The Crucible of Friction. Let's look at exactly why this friction matters. Because here's the hard truth. You absolutely cannot just take a helicopter to the top of your goals. True perspective? It's completely non-transferable.
Think about it like this. If a piece of deep life perspective is just handed to you casually, say in a short little video clip without any real struggle on your part, your brain treats it as an easy horizon. It's cheap information. It just sits passively in your working memory and never actually alters your baseline behavior. Difficult terrain is an entirely different beast. True perspective always has to be paid for in the currency of strain, which actually forces a physical adaptation right there in your nervous system.
Which brings us to a really crucial point. Wisdom is the compounding interest of survived friction. Just let that heavy concept breathe for a second. You simply cannot bypass the hard parts, because that acute distress, the exact thing you're probably trying to avoid, is the literal engine that expands your cognitive capacity.
And here are the actual biomechanics of what's happening in your body and mind. When you navigate difficult terrain, you endure physical or cognitive exhaustion. Fighting your way through cognitive paralysis or maintaining your execution during a high-stakes crisis literally forces your nervous system to adapt. It physically strips away non-essential thoughts and optimizes your focus. The difficulty of the climb is exactly what sharpens the lens through which you view the world. It's a real game changer.
Moving into Part 2, the cold-blooded perspective audit. It is time to ruthlessly filter your calendar and separate your true ascents from your performative obligations.
Let's compare these two paths side by side. When it comes to your primary fuel, the performative trap is totally driven by the anticipation of applause and status signals. But the sovereign reality? That is fueled by raw curiosity and a genuine love for the craft. And the long-term payout is vastly different too. Performative actions yield this temporary, volatile spike of social validation, which is almost always followed by emptiness. Meanwhile, the sovereign reality gives you a permanent structural upgrade to your wisdom baseline.
So this brings us to the ultimate mirror check. We call it the in-darkness rule. If you were legally forbidden from ever telling a single soul about your current pursuit, no posts, no subtle brags, absolutely zero updates, would you immediately stop doing it? If the answer is yes, you're stuck in the performative trap. A true sovereign baseline means that even if you were completely invisible and uncredited, you would still happily log the hours.
Part 3. The Sovereign Ascent Protocol. If you're finally ready to stop climbing for the crowd and actually start climbing for the view, you have to execute a strict boundary check. Here is the exact actionable 3-step sequence you need to reclaim your personal growth starting today. Step 1. Secure the internal directive. Step 2. Embrace the friction.
And step 3, stand grounded. Let's break these down.
All right, step 1, secure your internal directive. You're going to choose one major, deeply challenging objective this quarter. But here's the catch. Before you take even the first step, you have to declare an absolute information blackout. No posting, no casual coffee shop bragging, no farming for quick status points. You need to build your momentum in total silence, so your raw execution belongs exclusively to you and no one else.
Step 2, embrace the friction. When you're right in the thick of it, when your lungs are burning on a steep incline or your brain is just redlining from cognitive strain, do not wish for a shortcut. Instead, use this exact phrase: "This exact discomfort is the tax required to purchase my new eyes." You have to recognize that every single step you take through this friction is actively breaking down your old narrow perspective. Finally, step 3. When the business finally stabilizes, when that metric is crushed, when you actually reach your peak, whatever you do, do not immediately run to the edge to look down for applause. Look outward. Take a deep, silent breath of absolute ownership. Just look at the vast layout of reality made visible by your newly acquired altitude. This is exactly how you maintain absolute ownership over your achievement. You realize that the opinion of the herd at base camp, it's entirely irrelevant. You swallowed the friction, you earned the prize, and now you get to enjoy a calm, detached mastership.
So, I'm going to leave you with this. The mountains in our lives, they aren't going anywhere. But the way we scale them absolutely has to change. Tomorrow, when your phone is turned off, your social feeds are completely quiet, and absolutely no one is watching you, what will you choose to climb?